Welcome to EntreProgarmmers Podcast, the podcast for developreneurs, the podcast where you get to be a fly on the wall listening to real conversations of three developers trying to tackle the challenges they face as entrepreneurs.
All right, we're live.
We are live, and we have a quorum.
Barely alive.
So, Josh was just asked me if I had someone come in. We always do this. We always start a conversation, and then we're like, wait a minute, we should be recording this.
Yeah.
We might as well go live. So Josh was asking if I had someone come in I had my videographer come in to set up my studio, the lighting, and to improve. Because the idea was to make it, I'm really doing one shot when I do YouTube videos. And so let's just optimize that shot and make it as streamlined as possible. Yeah. So the plan, I think right now that would give us the biggest bang for the buck is to get a full frame DSLR, a good lens on there, which the lenses are more expensive for the full frame cameras, of course.
Is the idea of the full frame just that it's going to be a high resolution, or?
It'll do a couple of things. One, the depth will be better, so the field of vision will be because you got a bigger sensor there, so I can actually stand closer and get the background blur, which is one thing I've been trying to achieve with the lens, which I just can't achieve. I don't have a lot of distance back there.
No, you need ideally you want like a telephoto lens zoomed way in, and then you'll get a nice shallow depth of field in the blurry background.
Well, the problem is I'm trying to do a mid shot, like from the waist up. So,
and your office is only about 7.5 feet deep.
Exactly. So what I'm probably going to be doing is using like a 24 millimeter lens, which is what I'm using now, but I don't get the shallow depth of field on that when I'm standing back, because I can't stand back far enough. So the idea is that what I'll do is I'll be able to stand closer with a full frame. Yeah, and still get that. So that's the plan there. Is it'll be a wider shot, and then the other
that can look funny though. So you'll have to be careful because that'll distort your face.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, if I'm standing center, I should be good. What do they call it? The fringe or the I can't remember the technical term is. That's going to be the fisheye effect will be more on the outside of this. Right. Depending on the lens. I mean, a 24 millimeter shouldn't be that bad. I'm also I'm going to get a 24 and I think a 38 millimeter and test it out. And if I could do the 38, I mean, the closer that I can be to a 50, the better. I think 30 is where our eyes really like the normal vision. So
the 50 millimeters is approximately the same as they call it a normal lens.
Yeah. So I'd like to. I mean, maybe I can even do but I think a 38 will probably be close enough, or wherever that, I forget where the number is on that, but yeah. So that's
about 1.5 is usually the ratio. So 38 should be about right.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the plan for that, for the video, and I think that'll work well. I might also take my existing camera and set it up to have a second shot. I'm not entirely sure if I want to do that yet. And then as far as lighting, I'm just going to use one key light to have kind of a dramatic light. I mean, it's really dramatic here because I'm standing in front of the camera, in front of the computer. But when I stand back more, you can see that
it's directional.
The shade. Yep. Yeah. So I told him that I'd rather have a more dramatic lighting. Especially if I'm doing fitness videos and stuff, because it'll highlight, you'll have more shadows and whatnot. So, and also the effect I'm going for. Like, I think right about here with this shadow, maybe a little bit more depending, but he's going to get the lighting set up. So we're going to get a light there, and I'm going to mount it from the ceiling so that'll take up less space, and it'll be an LED light. Right now I've got a halogen, which is hot and also takes up a lot of space. So
you've got a little hot box there.
Yeah, so that's the plan there. And then I'm going to get a Rode boom mic that we tested out already that I'll mount from the ceiling. That'll just be out of frame. And that actually is better sound quality than the lapel mic because I deadened the room. If I hadn't deadened the room, it probably wouldn't be so good. So I can do the boom mic there, have that permanently connected to the camera, and then essentially when I shoot, I won't have to do the wireless. I mean, the wireless lapel mic is great, but if I forget to turn it on sometimes, and it's an extra step in there. And then I'm trying to think what else. I think that's pretty much it. It's possible that I might need another light if I shoot at night, and we'll have the background lit up. I've got actually this light is pointed towards the background, so that'll light the back. But
okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else that we're gonna do with that. I think that's pretty much it.
One thing you might consider would be like a hair light, which is coming from the back, hits the back of your head, and it puts a rim of light around your head and separates you from the background.
Yeah. We talked about potentially doing that. The only problem is like we're trying to balance like optimal with convenience factor.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure if I'll be able to like do that very easily. So I'm going to take a look at the shot, but it should be a big improvement anyway, and it should automate things. Plus, with the full frame DSLR, the autofocus should work on the. I mean, I probably won't even need to do that, but that should actually track properly, and then it'll just be a better picture overall. So it's probably about $2,500 worth of equipment, which seems like a lot, but considering how many YouTube videos and stuff,
it's our main growth engine for the business. So in that sense, it's really not a lot.
Yeah, it makes sense. So that's
Will are the panels in the shot too? The sound panels.
Yeah.
Because so at least with the white that you're wearing right now, what the contrast is too much between the white and the black panels. So usually the exposure is just freaking out.
Oh yeah.
Because it's trying to hit both. And this is a huge classic problem for wedding photographers, because you've got the bride in white and then you have the groom in black. And you can only pick one. Like digital photography has a much smaller range of brightness levels that it can capture. So usually what they do is they just say screw the groom and they go for the bride's dress, to capture all the detail in the bride's dress and the white. And so that means that the black just turns into this black hole, which is what's happening right now with those sound panels.
I'm kind of curious.
Getting a different color panels, like a lighter colored panel, if they're in the shot.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, to try out lighter.
Yeah, either some neutral color or even white. They'd be like a reflecting panel.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Actually, white panels would be.
You could probably take them down. If they come off, you could just take them down as an experiment and just see what the shot looks like.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And then if you like it, then.
Yeah, I mean, typically I haven't had a problem with it with the current setup. I mean, a webcam is obviously not going to have as much of a range as a camera. So I'll see once I get the full frame DSLR. I can always swap out some of the panels or swap out the panels for white panels too. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much the plan there. And then I can probably do some things to like use the EOS utility, which I'm not using with the current one, to be able to remote the shots and have a better monitor.
You need to set it up so that Alexa can control it.
Well, yeah.
There you go.
You just say, Alexa, I want to record some videos, and then roll.
But we hit, you see, it's time to upgrade, because yesterday we hit the milestone of 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tonight I'm going out to celebrate.
So now John can stop recording with his dumb phone camera that he's been using for all this time.
Oh yeah, well, no, I'll still be recording with that though. I'll still be using that outside, but I may try to get a. Well, see, the thing is, like, there's good cameras for portable cameras, but the big problem is that they're not as portable as your phone, right? So like, like I mean, the Canon A200 or PowerShot, whatever, I can't remember what. There's a big camera that most like YouTubers are using to do like vlogs and stuff, but I'm not carrying that out with me when I go for a run or something. Like maybe I'll carry it around in Europe if I was like purposely going to do some videos outside, but yeah, it just like the smartphone camera it makes a lot of sense. And the video on the smartphone camera looks really good. Like half the time I'll do a video on my camera, like just out and about, and people will comment on that and say, what camera are you using to shoot this? It looks awesome. And I'm like, yeah, it looks more awesome than my professional shots. Thanks. That's great. It's just a iPhone. So you can also get some lenses too for the iPhone, like if you want, which would be more portable as well. So, but it really does shoot pretty good by itself. So anyways, it was about time to upgrade with hitting that milestone to upgrade the equipment and get that set up. I'm excited. I probably won't be able to get it set up until, because he's my videographer guy. He's going to be shooting a bunch of commercials and stuff, and so he's booked up until right when I leave for Europe. So I'll probably get some of the equipment in, and then he'll kind of do the install when I come back. So
Oh, okay.
One thing I'm curious about there, you have the sound panels. I have a bunch of just sound foam, and I'm wondering if I can just put a frame on it and material over the front and have it kind of do what yours does. Is that essentially what those are, or?
It's a little bit different. I mean, I researched it. Like I've got some of the foam too, right? Like I've got these foam, and I've put a magnetic back on it. And what I do is I put it over my whiteboard in order to create another panel. So these are not as good as the actual panels themselves. The panels are much thicker, and I forget exactly. I looked it up when I was researching it, and there's a big difference in the quality.
Right.
I mean, it would do something for sure, right? So.
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide the best and most cost-effective way to do it, because yeah, I'm starting to get a handle on a lot of this stuff and get processes where things are automated, and so yeah, it's getting to the point where I'm like, okay, what's the next project? And I'm really thinking about the videos.
Okay, yeah. I was just about to say, since you're just doing audio, Chuck, since you're doing podcasts, you should just get a recording booth set up. Like they have these portable booths, and then
I've thought about it.
But if you're doing video, see, and that's the problem I had too, because originally when I got this house, I've got like a little nook back there that I thought, I can make a soundproof booth. But then I was like, oh, well, what is the point of that? Because I'm not going to be utilizing that, because I'm doing video. So
right.
Although I could do like a Blair Witch, I could do all my videos Blair Witch style, like just a shot from my cell phone camera straight up my nose.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I'm just going to jump in here for a minute. I've got processes now around the podcast editing stuff. So
sweet. Nice.
Yeah, so stuff's getting released, and I don't really have to do a ton there. I just get in and make sure that all the sponsorship information's on the episode in Asana.
So I think it's been a while. I think you were still like in the process of hiring people, weren't you? John, am I wrong about that?
2 weeks ago?
A few weeks ago. Yeah, like last time we talked about this. I'm curious now what you've got, because you hire? Who did you hire, and like?
Yeah. So I hired somebody. I hired 2 people to do the transcripts and show notes. And what's nice is one of them has totally jumped in with both feet, and so we've adjusted a few things to make it work. So basically, what happens now is I record an episode, I upload it to Dropbox, and then once it goes to Dropbox, I also put it into Asana, and that way Eric can pick it up, and he knows he needs to edit it. And so when he gets done, he moves it over to a column that says that it's edited, And then Zach picks it up and writes the show notes and moves it over to a column that says it needs the transcript done. And then he and Joanne work on getting the transcripts done. And then once it's scheduled, then they put it into the scheduled column. So I need to get on them about that, though, because there are a bunch of them. Oh, they're waiting for transcripts. That's why they're still in that column. So anyway, but yeah, that's kind of where things are at now. I've had a bunch of episodes go out without the transcripts, though, so I'm trying to decide if I actually need to keep doing those.
If you need to keep doing transcripts?
Yeah.
I'm trying to, I mean, what you need to do is probably figure out some metric to determine, well, yeah, that's a tough one. Because, I mean, you could find some metric to determine whether or not the transcripts are being effective. I don't know what you could use. Like, if the transcripts have the links in them or something that's being clicked, that could tell you, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Or you could see how many people are viewing the transcripts. You could set up Hotjar or something like that, some kind of visual tracking.
Oh, so I can see if they scroll down that far.
Yeah, if people are doing that, and that could tell you. But ultimately, too, like, you could look at the cost benefit analysis of it. Like, what is? I mean, even if people are using it, if you stop doing transcript, well, two things. One, what are transcripts costing you in terms of money and process and time, right? Would it make publishing a podcast episode 50% easier? And then the other thing would be, weigh that against the benefit of it, right? So is there actually any kind of trackable benefit to having the transcripts? And if the cost isn't much at all, right? Like, so for me, I'm doing a few transcripts on the 3 YouTube videos a week. We're doing transcripts on that and posting that, and it's like nothing. It costs me nothing. It's almost automatic, right? It's like, I don't know if there's much of a benefit, but it's like $30 a month to get our transcripts done. So it's just a no-brainer. Might as well do it. So I don't know, where do you? How much do you perceive that the transcripts cost you in terms of total effort of producing a podcast episode?
Well, at this point, it's pretty automatic. It's in there. They're assigned out to people. The only stress I have over it is that we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 episodes that are awaiting transcription.
Okay. The other thing I'd say, another metric. Can you track your Google Analytics to see if you're getting SEO from the transcripts? That's probably the biggest thing that matters for transcripts, I would say.
I don't know if there's a way to know that.
Josh?
I'm back now, finally. My computer, my Mac, which doesn't crash. Macs never crash. My Mac just effectively blue screened on me and restarted.
You must have done something wrong.
I did. It was all my fault. I was using my computer.
You know how people fat shame? Like, there's like at the Apple community, like, Apple shames you. Like, it's not Apple, it's you. You're not following the diet. You didn't push the right button.
Yeah.
So, so I don't know, Josh, is there a way for Chuck to figure out what we were talking about is transcripts. And so I was basically saying, like, what's the cost benefit analysis of these transcripts? So what are some metrics for knowing if the transcripts are being used or useful? And then, but the big one is really, I think, are you getting search traffic from your transcripts?
Yeah, I would look at search traffic and also time on page for the episodes that have. So are the transcripts just pasted onto the page with the download page?
They're on the page with the episode.
Okay, so you could compare the page times, the read times before and after, and then you could also potentially, this is a little trickier, but you could also look at things like email signups originating from those pages. Compare, see if you're getting a conversion boost. But I would probably like search traffic would be probably the biggest thing, and then
I'm just trying to figure out if it's helping enough to make it worth it.
Yeah. So you've got, tell me about the sites that have, oh my gosh. For the first 10 minutes after my Mac restarts, it's just a cacophony of bouncing icons, and it's like every app that was open when it restarted has to reopen, and they're like, "Hey, come pay attention to me," and the windows fly around and everything. But yeah, tell me, do you have some pages? Which episodes or which shows have the transcripts and which ones don't right now?
So I've been doing transcripts on everything that I'm producing.
Yeah.
So the only ones that don't have transcripts are basically React Native Radio, which doesn't, and then like the 8 latest episodes of the shows that I produce.
All of them
don't have them yet. So they're assigned to people to get transcribed, but yeah, I hired 2 people to do show notes and transcripts, one in the Philippines and one in Georgia. And the guy in Georgia finally came to me and said, "Hey, these aren't getting released on time. Do you want me to just do the show notes as soon as they're edited and get them scheduled for release? And then, and then we can just get them out?" And I'm like, "Yes." And so we've just been releasing them without.
That's a really good sign. That's a good sign because.
Yeah, and then he's been going back and transcribing the ones that he can. This other lady in Philippines, she hasn't been doing as many of them as I would like, and so I'm trying to decide. Basically, you know what? Should I just scrap this? Because Zach. His name's Zach. He lives in Georgia. He is just so engaged on a lot of this stuff that, I'm kind of tempted to just say, you know what, let's just scrap transcripts for a little while and have you work on some of this other stuff that I need done. Because, yeah.
So I missed a critical 3 minutes there. So you hired this guy in Georgia to do mainly transcripts, but he's just seems to be awesome and is helping you with other stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sounds like you found a Rodrigo.
Yeah. And I'm totally willing to give him a raise and have him do more work for me.
How much are you getting now?
I'd have to look. Because right now he's working for me through Upwork.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I've been really happy with him. I'm actually way happier with him than I am with my regular VA.
That's good. Well, okay, so one thing you could do would be potentially to transition him to doing the higher value stuff, and then maybe using the lady in the Philippines to continue to just do the transcripts.
Yeah, but she won't be able to keep up. Like, not even close to keep up.
Okay. Well, you could still have, he could still manage an army of transcriptionists for you.
That's true. I could find a few other people to do the transcripts.
Yes, because that's easy. That's like brain dead stupid work. I mean, I've done it. I know, because I used to do a lot of interviews when I was a journalist, and I would go through and transcribe them. And as long as the recording quality was good, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
The big question is, what is the transcripts adding?
Yes.
And that's what I think you got to kind of figure that out, because that's going to tell you how much to spend.
Do you know, you haven't added me yet to your, my goal is to get into all of my friends' Google Analytics. So
I swear I added you to that.
You may have. Let me look. And if so, I can, you guys can talk and I can look at the analytics and figure this out.
But I was saying to put Hotjar on the pages too, so you can see if people are scrolling down and actually reading transcripts. But even then, it's like, you can get a pretty good idea from the time on the page. Yeah.
Like especially if you can compare, you might even try, you can compare that pretty easily between some of the episodes that don't have any transcripts right now.
Yeah.
That do.
I mean,
how do I sign into this? Because all I'm seeing is sign up for free.
Google Analytics?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not right.
People could also be spending time on the page because they're listening to the episode on the page.
Yeah,
some people do that.
That is true.
So yeah,
that's a good point. Okay, so I have JavaScript Jabber and Ruby Rogues. So let's look at JavaScript Jabber, and I'll just get a sense for how much of your traffic is Google.
It's funny. So, there's almost like I feel like there's 3 places you could go with transcripts. Like if you like doing transcripts, and one of them would be to do no transcripts at all. The second one would be to do like just transcript for the sake of transcription, like almost no effort. I'll just toss this over and here's a transcript, right? This like no editing on it, no like show notes or anything like that. And then the third level would be you do the transcripts and it's got beautiful show notes and it's formatted and it's, it corrects some of the, like it's a well edited document. It's like it provides some kind of superior experience, right? But what you don't want to do is be in between those two. Because then you're paying the highest cost and you're not actually providing a premium benefit that's going to be worthwhile. So why I'm saying that is because you need to figure out how much the transcripts are worth to you so you can know which of those 3 choices, right? If the transcripts aren't worth crap to you, like they're basically, you're not getting SEO, people aren't even really using them, it's not affecting your subscriber base, ditch them. If your transcripts are like minimal impact, like just having the words there gives you SEO, then don't do the premium experience. Just throw it up and just have a transcript. This is like, it's got errors in it. Who cares? It's just a quick transcript. We can just send an army of people. It costs me almost nothing to do it. Let's just do it, right? We get the SEO benefit. But if it's like, oh wait, transcripts, this makes a huge difference. When you have show notes and you have, you sell more. Amazon affiliate, right? You get more engagement from the readers. Then maybe you take it and invest even further, right? And make it like a very, very premium experience.
So the number 4 source of referrals for JavaScript Jabber is Simple Programmer. It's the podcast list.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is.
We give so many podcasts so much traffic. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that some people act so negative when we ask them for little things on the podcast.
Just shut up and leave me alone.
I'm going to start cutting off the assholes. I'm going to start pulling them off the list. I'm going to list their podcast and no link to it. I'm going to be like, I don't really like this guy. He's an asshole.
I was going to say, if you removed the link, it would probably...
Hey, Chuck, do you have a decent Twitter following?
Yeah, I have 38,000 people following me on Twitter.
Would you do something for us right now?
Maybe.
or you'll be. Let me say that your traffic will drop by a quarter next month in July if you don't do this.
Hey,
I don't want to use the term blackballed, but
I'm up here in your Google Analytics account. Would you do me a favor, by the way, while I'm here?
Let me do this real quick. I'm creating a pretty link. So we did this. We can talk about this in a little bit, but we're doing this Thunderclap campaign. Have you ever heard of this before?
No.
Okay, so basically the idea is it is a way for you. It makes it really easy for people to schedule tweets for an event for you.
Okay.
So go to simpleprogrammer.com/thunderclap, and everyone listening do this too. This is for the book launch. So just go to simpleprogrammer.com/thunderclap
with Twitter,
and it'll redirect you to a page. I just created a pretty link, and it'll redirect you to our Thunderclap campaign. And what this is it's a way. So basically, you click with you can do like a one-click thing, and you say support this on Twitter, and it will schedule you as you'll send out a tweet about our book launch on launch day, basically. So it's like a way to schedule a tweet very easily. So my goal with this, I'm seriously considering setting a goal here of trying to get this to a million developers. We're up to 81,000 so far. So Chuck, you could put us over 100K actually.
It says access denied. Sorry, authorization required to continue.
Wait, what? The pretty link does? Or
yeah.
What?
You might have did it to like your admin page or something in there. Or Chuck might have typed simpleprogrammer.com/Thundercats.
Thundercats. Yeah, that.
I think we should have a
It
Thundercat.
is the stats. Oh darn, hang on.
Yeah. I want a simpleprogrammer.com/Thundercats now.
Give me 1 second. I have to find the correct URL here. But yeah. Anyway, so Chuck, I'm looking at the analytics, and you're getting a decent amount of traffic from Google, but it's not a huge amount.
So you don't think the transcripts are helping that much then?
Well, your total acquisition, so your total number of sessions for Google this month in JavaScript Jabber was 3,900. And 2,300, almost 2,400 of those went straight to the JavaScript Jabber homepage.
Okay.
Essentially. So that means that you're only getting around 1,200, I think, no, 15, around 1,500 visits to all the other pages combined. So that's not a trivial amount, but it's not a huge amount either.
And we can't assume that all of that is from transcripts. It could just be from the episode titles.
Yeah, the episode titles and the show notes. So the transcripts no doubt add some percentage to that. But I don't know that it's like a huge amount.
To me, it sounds like it's not worth it.
You could always, you could always let it go for a few months and then come back. And actually, I'd be happy to help you with this, but just come back and take a look at how the episodes without the transcripts are performing over time, and see if it makes a difference. That might be a good, because then it wouldn't, if you let 3 or 4 months go by, that would give you some time. Because the problem is when you release a new episode, those are going to get a whole bunch of traffic right away.
Yep.
So you have to kind of let that die down before you can evaluate it.
Here's another thing to consider too is, it seems like this is kind of a friction point for you right now. You could drop the transcripts for now. It would make your process simpler, make things simpler so you could move faster. And then you could revisit it someday in the future. So it's sort of like one of those things where, okay, let's say that you, like a year from now, you double your revenue, right? And you're kind of cash infused. So then you're like, okay, well, frick it. I'm going to hire someone who is going to manage transcripts, and I'm going to tell them, like, these need to be the most awesome transcripts in the world. Like, your job is to make the transcripts as awesome as possible. You can hire out people from the Philippines, however you're doing it, but I want transcripts. I want show notes. I want it when people hit play on the page that it highlights the text as it goes. Whatever. You can afford to pay someone a lot of money. You can have a
bouncing ball that goes along and like bounces over the words.
You could just have a full-time transcript person, for a few grand a month, and it'd be worth it, because or you could try it out. You see what I'm saying? Like where the cost is not much, whereas right now it seems like the cost is relatively more expensive, and because there's a friction point there, it's almost like it's one of those things too where it's like if you can hire someone to completely take over the thing, then it may cost you more, but the friction disappears completely. Right. Whereas if you can only part-time hire someone, you sort of have to project manage that person. And so then it's like you're like stuck in that hard place. So maybe, I mean, based on what Josh is saying from the traffic numbers,
that's kind of, well, and it would save me a few $100s a month at least.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
But the other thing is if it's not helping anything, then and then if I decide to bring it back, then I can, maybe I try and say, look, you have to be on the email list or something to get it, or something like that.
Yeah, that's true. And then it could be
if it was like a lead magnet, that would make sense if that worked effectively.
Yeah.
So
actually, that's a good test right there, is because so we know it's not helping you for SEO, right? At least not much. I mean,
not enough to leave it out there for free the way it is.
Yeah, it's not making you, the SEO portion of it's not making you money. It's not getting you new subscribers. Not really, right? So we could rule that out. So then, is it useful to your audience? I don't know. Here's a good way to find out. Take them off, and then say, hey, look, transcripts cost money, and they slow down the episodes getting out. I'm happy to provide the transcripts, but not for free. So if they're and I don't know if they're valuable to you. So if they're valuable to you, and you could just run a little ad or something, or you could put this in place of the transcripts, then here you go. You can sign up here. It's $10 a month or whatever it is, or however you could figure out the pricing model, and just say, this is beta right now. If enough people sign up, if there is enough interest and people are willing to, and make them pay right then and there, go on the $10 or whatever it is, you have to figure out the details. And just say, if enough people sign up, then we'll do transcripts, and they'll be emailed to you, or you'll have a login, or however you want to figure that out. And that's a great test, because that'll give you the absolute, because if people are not willing to pay $5 a month or $10 a month or whatever it is for it, then it's not that valuable to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Chuck,
I just dropped a link to I'm not sure that link will work, but that's the analytics report I'm looking at. So it's basically, okay. Yeah, it's all of the JavaScript Jabber episodes minus the homepage, and there's another version. The homepage, there's JS Jabber, and then there's also JS Jabber / for some reason that's showing up. So it doesn't look like. So the time on the page, so the average session duration is only a minute. So it's actually pretty low. Yeah. I'm betting it's people going there for the pics mainly.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, John, it doesn't look like people are really playing the podcast episodes from the page either. So I fixed the pretty link. So try it again. So it's simpleprogrammer.com/thunderclap.
I might I might have to try this.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's going to appeal mainly to people that have a tiny audience.
But it's only going to be beneficial to people who have a huge audience.
If you have a huge audience, exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we've got so we put together. Well, I mean, we'll finish up with your stuff here, Chuck. But we have this launch team that we're.
This will post this one-time message on your account. Social reach 39,568.
Woo! Do you have a Facebook reach too?
Not like that.
Okay.
Your social reach is now 120,000.
Wow! Right there we go.
All right.
Yeah. So this is only useful. So you figure that only about 5% of the people are going to actually see this. Because organic reach is pretty low.
Right.
So you need huge numbers. So that's why I'm thinking, like, if we could go for 1 million, and I think we could actually get there. I've got some ideas that I think could easily get us to 500,000. But when you do that, now you're talking, okay, if you get to 1 million, that means minimum 50,000 people are going to see these messages, and then because Google or Twitter and Facebook hide 95% of the status updates that go out. But then those 50,000, a bunch of those are going to get picked up and retweeted. So that's really what I'm counting on, is like people are going to retweet it. People are going to share it on Facebook again. So it could get us, if we can get enough critical mass up front, it could get us some viral action going.
Yeah. Yeah. The more it hits, the bigger it is on that blast, the more likely that you're going to be able to pick up a viral thing there. So yeah, I think 1 million is a good goal. I mean, if you hit 1 million, then there's probably, even if you don't go like what's technically viral, it'll still have a much further reach, because you're not going to hit 1 million because it's going to get retweeted. So you'll probably have a reach of like 1.5 million or 2 million at the minimum if you hit 1 million.
Right. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
No, so, I'm digging this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So what I'm thinking is, so we have this guy that we've been working with who has this huge Facebook page. So we're gonna have him support it, and he's got like 300,000 people on his, so that'll get us up to like 400,000. Then I'm gonna have John reach out to a bunch of big name people on Twitter and try to get them to support it. And it's nice because it's a pretty low value ask, or pretty low cost ask for people. Like, hey, would you send an email for me is a pretty big one. But this kind of gives us a couple different tiers that we can ask. So we can say, hey, would you send an email for us? Then they say no. Well, would you be at least willing to do this? And they're probably going to say yes to that one.
Right. I'll just give you access to the Simple Programmer, the John at simpleprogrammer.com account. This way you don't have to. Yeah, this way you don't have to wait on me. Like, you can just reach out to these people if you want to email them. Okay. Unless you're thinking to reach out to them on Twitter. I don't know. I mean, either way. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. We can discuss the most effective way to do that.
Yeah.
But that's a good idea.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. I mean, it can't hurt, but
yeah,
I haven't heard great things about. But part of the problem is because people sign up for Thunderclap with small audiences, and they're like, oh, this is going to totally like kill it. And then it doesn't. And it's not because it's just because they don't have enough, they can't gather enough momentum.
Right. So, well, and then this in particular for this launch, I think that this has the potential to really do well because it's such a freaking attractive offer. I mean, it's a 99-cent book. And we've just been killing it with this. Everything we've tried to promote this so far has almost been like a home run, just out of the gate automatically.
Right.
It's not only a 99-cent book, but you've got me creating all these free courses that go creating like $500 worth of free courses that I'm recording in addition to it. Yeah. So I wonder if we could throw that in the advertising somehow too, and say like you also get access to $500 worth of free courses or whatever.
I'm planning to. Yeah, we're gonna have it on the landing page, and it's gonna be in the emails that I'm putting together for like SitePoint and Java Code Geeks and stuff are going to mention all the bonuses. So, or the $500 worth.
Oh, by the way, check this out. If you haven't seen this yet, we've got the landing page up. simpleprogrammer.com/career guide.
So this is the landing page that we had designed by 99 Designs.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's simpleprogrammer.com/career guide.
And we hired someone on Upwork to actually implement this in Thrive, believe it or not, in Thrive Page Builder, which I think he did a pretty damn good job.
Yeah,
he did.
This does not look like Thrive Page Builder, right? Like,
no, it's a combination of. So I looked at, I've been editing the page all week, and it's a combination of, he just threw some HTML boxes on the page, and just literally just took hard-coded HTML and slapped it in there, and then some of it's actual native Thrive elements. I don't really care. I mean, ideally it would all be native Thrive, because then you can go in and like edit the text and everything more easily. But really, I just wanted to be able to easily update the text and not have to roll up my sleeves and dive into CSS every time.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I told him too. I was like, kind of do the biggest bang for the buck. So, because if it's compartmentalized into little pieces of HTML, I figured you could go in there and edit that. But if you got to search the whole page and try and
exactly.
But
so the jury's out on this page. So we I'm monitoring it. We put it up yesterday, and I'm watching it to try to figure out, because The other page that we had was really basic, and it was pretty much just a straightforward, like, direct response looking page, and that was converting at like around 40%, depending on the day and the traffic, anywhere from 35 to close to 50%, which is really high. And so I'm watching how this new one performs to see if it's gonna hurt that too much. It's actually, so it's hard. It's a little early to say. Yesterday I was freaking out a little bit because it looked like people were not reading the page, and it still looks like people are not reading nearly as much of the page as they were before. But so far the conversion rate, from what I could see, the conversion rate seems okay. Like, doesn't seem like it's dropped a whole lot.
If you think about it too, people should not be reading the page. Oh, I don't know if you saw, there's a duplication. Number 2 and 5 are the same text.
Are they? He did that. I'll fix that. He did that. So he did that with one of the testimonials too.
Okay, yeah, it's copy and paste error. But regardless, I mean, people typically should not be reading it as much because it's more compelling, right? Like, just a visual, like, they're like, oh yeah, of course I want this book. When they see the image there, they see that it looks like a professional book. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that it's easier to sell, right? When you have that visual element. So I would kind of expect that people would need less convincing and prodding in order to click that sign up.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah.
But either way, I mean, the thing is, even if the conversion factor were less, it may end up being slightly less. As long as it's not abysmal, I'd rather have a more professional looking, site that looks like, okay, this is a serious book, because it's not just, and it's not just for the sign up. It's also like when we send this out to people and potential partners. I wish we would have had this earlier, because I feel like we could get more support with the book trailer. And this looks like some serious stuff. It doesn't look like, hey, I'm putting out this ebook. Hey, Smashing Mag, I got this career guide. Let me just send this to your audience. This career guide. It teaches them how to be a programmer, how to make some money. You know what I'm talking about? All right. It doesn't come off like that. Instead, it's more like, I've got this Porsche here. Yeah, you want to? Let's Smashing Mag, what a dick. But
yeah, I tried to buy advertising with Smashing Magazine, and they rejected us because.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were like, they didn't like that we were promoting a career guide. I'm like, what? Okay. Whatever.
I mean, as long as it gives people what they want.
I wasn't. Is there some kind of stigma I'm unaware of with the terms career guide, or?
No, they're just dicks. Honestly, I tried to submit a guest article for them once, really? And they like edited it, and it's like design. I ended up publishing on my own site. I went through all these hoops of editing it and revising it, and then they're like, "Yeah, it's not quite what we want here." And it was just a pain in the ass. And they're like, I think they're super like, I think they look at, I know what happened. They went to like Simple Programmer. They went to YouTube videos, and they're like, oh yeah, no, we're better than that.
Yeah,
so that's what they did.
I think I figured that's what happened too. That they saw something that they didn't like on the site somewhere. I'm sure they wouldn't have to look far.
No, they wouldn't have to look far. So it's all right now.
But yeah, it was funny because it was like, no, we won't take your money. I'm like, okay. Like,
and it's not like you should just accept any person that's willing to give you money for advertising. But like, we're software development selling a book on software development. Come on. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, all right, come on, guys. Like, you're gonna waste our time, and like, we're legit customers willing to pay you money. All right, fine. Well.
And it's pretty obvious that we're well established too. So.
Yeah.
Whatever. But
that's all right.
So yeah, so this week I also launched our book launch. So I'm calling them the Launch Brigade, but basically our goal is to get 1,000 people into this Facebook group who are committing to buy the book and leave a review on day one. So it's actually day 0. We're doing a soft launch, so the 99-cent deal will go live on Tuesday before we promote it publicly, because we wanted to have some cushion. And then this way we're going to try to get like 200 plus reviews on day 0. And then day 1, when all these emails go out and the Thunderclap campaign hits and all the other promotions hit, we'll have 200, hopefully 5-star reviews already. And, it'll be off to the races.
Right. That makes
so
sense.
that's been fun. It's threatening to do what has never been done before, which is get me hooked on Facebook, because I've been hanging out in the group and just interacting with people a little bit, and it's kind of addictive. And you can see people typing and replying to your message after you posted and everything. So we're up to like I think we're getting close to 600 members in the group now already. So I sent one email. Yeah, we're at 577. We've got 10 people that are asking to get in. So yeah, I sent one email to the list. I started by sending it just to the top 10%, or actually top 20% of the list, so the most active people, and we got a bunch from that. And then didn't look like we were going to get enough from that, so I sent it out to the top 50%. And I think John, I think these are going to be, I think this will actually be more effective than just relying on email.
Right.
I think this 577, because you sent with soft skills, you just did an email blast, right?
Yeah, I did a couple email blasts I did an email blast to get people to sign up, and then a single click opt-in to become part of and then that group got emails for the early release and stuff for the book. And so,
and how many people do you have in that?
I think there was 500 people, and we got like 200 reviews, like 150 or 200 reviews on day 1. The goal that I was thinking for us to be, like, my minimum bar of success for the Software Developer's Career Guide is day 1 of launch. We want to have about 500 5-star reviews. Okay. If we hit that, that'll give us enough velocity to where Amazon will recommend. And we want verified purchase reviews, which is why we need the people to pay the 99 cents and make sure they download the book. But yeah, I think if we hit that, we should be good, because that'll be plenty of social proof, especially it'll help us on the next day when people go for the launch. If there's already like 500 reviews there, we'll be in good shape. Like,
yeah. Yep. So what I'm planning to do is, so we're working this Facebook group. So we've got everybody in the Facebook group. We're going to do a live event. So on the 18th, the day 0, we're going to have, John's going to get on Facebook and do like a live Q&A video session with everybody in the group. And John, I think during that, we should spend 5 minutes, and you should go, okay, go to Amazon.com. Click the buy button, like give them the URL, like just walk them through, and like dedicate like a couple of minutes to just, all right, let's do this right now.
In the live stream, like
yeah. What do you think? Okay. Because I think that would probably get us 50 to 100 reviews right there potentially.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That's worth it, and I'll do. Yeah, that makes sense.
But then I'm also, basically anyone who interacted with the emails that I sent out about the launch, about this book launch team, is going to be getting more email from me. Basically, I'm just going to pretend they're in the group. And then, so like if they opened the email, maybe not if they opened it, but definitely if they clicked on the link, and even if they didn't join, they're going to get all the emails that go to that group. Yeah. And because it means they were thinking about it. And then I can actually have a tag where I can say, hey, P.S., if you're not in the Facebook group yet, here's how to join. And then, but I think I'm gonna send an email to a whole bunch of people saying, hey, the PDF, the review copy's out, the PDF is out.
Exactly.
You can download it in the Facebook group.
Well, do we need them to be in the Facebook group? I mean, maybe just give them the link to download it. Like, possibly,
yeah. But I mean, I like having them take the extra step of joining the Facebook group because I think it's one of those. This is one of those times where I think consistency and commitment is actually pretty useful. And so basically we're getting them to say, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, they're not just downloading the PDF, but they're like, okay, yes, I'm going to, because when you join the Facebook group, it says, there's a message that pops up that says, I'm not just a freeloader. I'm going to buy the book. I'm going to leave a review. So but then also that those people will they'll get notices about the live stream and all that stuff too. So it just gives us another channel to communicate with them.
Yeah. So, it's funny. Anyone who's been following this is probably like, I'm never fucking writing a book, never making a book, never launching a book. This is ridiculous.
Well, there's a difference between writing a book, and I think John was saying this last time, but the difference between writing a book and trying to get the #1 book launch in history in a niche.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do. So
we'll definitely have earned this.
Yes. Yes.
It's definitely something that's engineered for sure.
But they all are. That's the thing. Like,
oh yeah, they are. Of course. I mean, yeah.
There's exceptions to that, but for the most part, this stuff is always, a lot of work and a lot of hustle.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's what it takes. So I'll be glad when this is done, though. I am so.
John's basically going to publish on the Kindle Create Space edition and then get on a jet for Europe.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll be like, Josh, good luck.
Yeah.
John, I'm bracing myself for you to want to go back to go off into the mountains and herd goats when you get back from Europe.
Oh yeah. So. Yeah. You should be bracing yourself for that. I'm already entertaining those fantasies. Yeah. No, I figure though, at the minimum, I mean, I don't know. I got to see how I feel when I get back and stuff, but I definitely want to hit a bunch more courses and get, I don't know. I've been thinking about where I want to go and stuff. And I want to get enough stuff going with Simple Programmer, get some more courses out, hit some of those things so that we've got that thing humming along. And then I'm probably going to take the next year and I'm going to keep doing YouTube videos because for a couple of reasons. One, it makes sense. I actually mostly enjoy doing that as well. And then we've got so much infrastructure for the YouTube videos like Rodrigo and now Rodrigo's got his assistant. So I kind of have to keep that pipeline going at a minimum. But after that, I think I want to look at going more into the mainstream side of things more seriously at that point. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens, but we've got to we still got some work to do here, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with this book. This book has the potential to double our business, if not more, if we're successful with the goal, where we're shooting out for this, and we can hit the #1 spot in Amazon, and we consistently sell into that #1 spot. If we basically dethrone Cracking the Coding interview, we'll be tripling the business revenue easily from that, just from the referrals that will be coming from the book of selling so many copies per day. That alone will become our biggest traffic source and our biggest revenue source. And so we could be sitting pretty there. That would, to me, also that could be the difference. That could be something that we could say, okay, this is the icing on the cake. Now that we've got this and it's dwarfing everything else, we can almost just operate simple programmer on turnkey mode, right? It's like, because there's enough there, and then we can move on to something else. Then we could focus on going more mainstream or doing something like that. And so that's what I'm hoping for, is that this is, because as I was recording videos yesterday too, like with my videographer, or the day before, I was like, I was answering a lot of Q&A videos, programming related ones. And I was like, not only am I like, I've answered kind of versions of these questions before, but I'm not really like, I'm not excited about answering these programming questions anymore, because I'm just so disconnected from it now that, I don't know. I just don't want to do programming questions anymore, to be honest with you. So.
Yeah. Well, what we should think about something really fun to dive into when you get back.
Yeah. Yeah.
To get you to help try and maybe get you over that initial, because I think that's just I think that's, we can pretty much plan on that. And I'm sure if I stepped away for 2 months, it would be the same deal. But we can pretty much plan on the.
By the way, John, if you're getting programming questions from people, send them over to me and I'll answer them.
Okay. Yeah, I got a bunch of my Trello board. I'll see if there's some.
There's an interesting idea there. So like, is that worth discussing anymore? Could we benefit from having guests, like guests tackling some of these questions on the site or on the YouTube channel? Or is that taking us in a bad direction? I don't know.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Like to say, like,
it depends. Like if we want to go, if we do want to take the channel more mainstream and kind of keep it personality focused, then that's probably not the right direction. But
yeah, that's probably not. Yeah, unless we just start, like, another thing would be to spin off a simple programmer channel, and then have that one be just the career in programming and stuff. I was already thinking about spinning off a simple fitness channel and just making a few videos on that and just seeing what the interest level is. But I don't know. Definitely not now. There's just too many. There's too many things to do and not enough time. I answered a question on Wednesday. Someone said, "How can I get the 25th hour of the day?"
The 25th hour of the day will not help you. What you need is 48th hour of the day.
Exactly. I told them, well, I'll take as many hours as you give me in the day. So we'll see. All right. Shall we do our thoughts, I guess?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I've got.
So one of the things that I'm just going to jump in with is, I talked about these processes and just getting organized. And it was funny because I guess there are two things. One is just measure stuff. Measure the things that matter. So you're asking me, for example, what's it worth to you? And, we're trying to figure out, how do we know what the transcripts are worth? Another thing that I ran across was that I set up a sponsorship pipeline that I've been working on. And that was at the behest of Jamie, my business coach. And she, so she's like, yeah, how many companies do you think you're going to have in that? And I was like, 30 or 40. Yeah, I think I'm up to like 90. And so anyway, just having that and getting organized, because I start looking through my emails and it's like, oh, all these companies have sponsored me too. And so, I'm going to reach out to them and see what we can do for them, because it's been a couple of years. And anyway, so that's been very helpful. And then the other thing is just having a system around it. So, most of my focus over the next month is going to be on finding more sponsors. And so she's like, okay, what's your KPI, which is your key performance indicator? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, is a number of emails? Because I'm using Blue Tick, so I find somebody and those emails go out over the next month without me having to do anything other than add them to the sequence. And so she's like, yeah, so number of emails is a poor indicator. So we came up with basically my key performance indicator on this is to reach out to 40 companies every week for the next month. And just, I mean, the whole idea is just to fill up this pipeline and then get that follow-up going and build the relationships, and get these sponsorship spots filled, because that's by far the fastest and most effective way for me to increase the bottom line for devchat.tv. And so, I mean, just by having these things and then saying, okay, this is how I'm going to measure it, this is what I'm going to do, here's the system I'm following, it kind of makes it really easy to figure the rest of it out, because now all I really have to do is get a system around the front end of that process where it's, okay, I've identified companies, how do I identify the people I'm going to reach out to? And so we've talked about the LinkedIn on there some. I've had a few people offer to use different systems that they have for looking up companies. And so I'm probably going to take some of them up on that and say, hey, look, yeah, I'm just looking for the marketing, manager or marketing director or VP of marketing at these companies, and just see what they can find out. I have a good friend that works at a law firm, and he does research for them. And so he has access to all of their research systems. He's their librarian. Jamie mentioned that she has access to a system that allows her to do some of these lookups. And so, yeah, just by kind of having that together, maybe I'll get a list of 100 people this next week or the week after, and, I can just, jump right in and go after it. So
yeah.
Anyway, I'm looking at some of these other options and just trying to figure out, okay, now what's the system for having 40 people I can add to the funnel at the top instead of, okay, now what? I'm trying to find 40 people and, I got all these other things to keep track of. No, the system kind of does that for me.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
I'll piggyback off of that. I was thinking, so this concept of ratcheting it up, right? So like, it's one that I apply a lot. So ratcheting it up and then being consistent, right? So if you look at, like, we've hit a lot of milestones at Simple Programmer, and just like hitting the 100,000 on YouTube and whatnot. A lot of it comes from, a lot of success comes from ratcheting it up to the next level and then staying there consistently, and that becomes the new baseline level, right? And so I've done this with a lot of things. I sort of apply this in my life, right? I've done this because you can't just go to the high level. Again, like I was talking to my videographer, and here we're going to spend maybe $2,000 or $3,000 on video equipment, and I'm like, there's a lot of people that, like, when they start their YouTube channel, they buy all of this expensive video equipment, and then they don't actually make videos with it, or they become this, Josh. People want to be photographers, and so they buy $10,000 worth of photography equipment, but they don't even know how to. They couldn't even work a fucking point and shoot, right? So there's no point in doing that, and so they've ratcheted it up too fast. Like it's not really ratcheting it up. You got to be consistent, and so and I've done this. I think this is just a powerful concept, right? I've done this with fitness level, where with exercise and routine, and now I'm running 40 miles a week, but I wouldn't be doing that had I not ratcheted it up. Like, you're just not jumping into that, but that becomes the baseline. Once you ratchet it up, that ratchet, it doesn't go back the other way. So you got to be careful, but you're very, very slowly doing the ratchet, a little bit there, right? I implement this with a lot of things. Recently I did it with the clothing, with the dress code. Now I've ratcheted up and said, okay, this is my standard now. And even with things like face care, I was like, okay, now I'm doing it with this. Like I have a system in place, and that's where the system thing ties in. It's like, I know every morning I'm doing this face care that I do, and that's a little ratchet, right? It's the fitness is a little ratchet. Making the YouTube videos is a little ratchet, right? All these little things that add up over time, and then that cumulative effect becomes extremely powerful, and you get a little bit better, right? So like now with the YouTube videos, the next ratchet level will be to get this higher level of equipment, so we have a higher base standard level of video that's going to come out, and that's a little bit of ratcheting. So I think that's just a powerful concept and way to look at life, is that you've got it wherever you're at right now, and then you when you make an improvement, you don't think of it as like a temporary thing. You think of it as just a small change that you're ratcheting up to get just a little bit higher, and then you're going to sustain that, and that's how you become like that. That's where you get to the point where I feel guilty some days. I'm like, man, I'm not hardly getting any work done. Like, I'm not making progress. And then, I'll get like an email from someone or someone on YouTube, and they're like, holy shit, John, I don't know how you do so much stuff. It's insane, all this stuff that you do. Like, it's crazy. Like, and then I look at it, I'm like, wow, really one of my days is like the productivity level of some people's week. And it used to be my entire week, but I just, it's because the level is ratcheted up so high now that's my expectation. And wherever your expectation is, that's where whatever your base expectation is, that's where you're generally going to land. So, you know, what would appear to be ridiculous to someone else becomes your base level, and it's all perception. So, but it comes from doing that little ratchet.
Yeah, another analogy, when I think about that, I usually think about rock climbing. Not that I'm a big rock climber or anything, but the way it works is basically you go up the cliff and you take a little spike and you pound it in as high as you can reach, and then you pull yourself up, and then you reach up and you pound another spike in, and you're just kind of work your way up one step at a time like that. But
you've got that like tether so that you can't you can't fall back. You can only fall back so far. And then exactly. That's a great analogy. But, and that's a better analogy actually, because you will fall back. But as long as you've got that safety line in, you're not going to fall back, because you're never falling to the bottom. Like, you can work your way back up again, and now your fall back level is higher.
Yep. So, so actually, I guess I'm not really going to add a whole lot to that, but that's kind of been my focus as well, as developing more consistency in my specific goals. So specifically on the fitness thing, right now I have two main goals. One is I did this crazy cut where I got myself back down to 12% body fat. Last time, if you go into my trend tracking, it looks like a V. I got down to 11% body fat, and then at the exact same rate over the next 4 months, I climbed back up to 15%. It's very depressing to see. It's like literally like a rebound. This time, I have figured out, like, I'm hell-bent on sticking. So I got down to 12%. I'm going to stick here, and I'm going to spend the next 3 to 5 months really just learning to maintain this level that I'm at. So basically my goal for July is to just basically maintain that. And so I'm actually tracking it. I'm actually kind of like spending a few minutes every morning journaling and just like tracking a few key numbers every day, so that and watching the trend to make sure that I don't start to drift back into the behaviors that cause me to fall out of the progress that I'd made. And then, once I have this, I'm going to maintain this for 3 to 5 months, and then probably in October, I'm going to do another version of my my quick cutting approach, and I think I can get down to about 10%, and then I'll hold that. So, but yeah, so far it's going. I'm really happy. It's like this is the first time I've not just immediately had this huge rebound coming off of any kind of diet. So it's been encouraging.
Nice,
very cool.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, next week, hopefully, we probably need to get a hold of Derek and see what's going on.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Alrighty.
See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Wanna start a business, but you just know how to code. Listen to John, Josh, and Derek as we figure it out. We are the EntreProgrammers, and we'll teach you straight up to be developreneurs.